What's going on, guys? It's Extreme Bricks, and today we're back from our sponsored Brickmania kit review. So today's review is going to be on the KV-2 heavy artillery tank. This is a very, very large tank and has some fantastic features on it. You get a great minifig, it's a great build, and has a lot of cool features on it. And one of them is actually that this is the KV-2. Its predecessor is the KV-1. They share the same exact chassis, so you get the parts to build the KV-2 or KV-1 turret. Which I'll show both of those in this video so you get to see both versions of this tank. So it's going to be really, really cool. It has, again, fantastic features, and I can't wait to show you them. So we're going to do this like all the other Brickmania reviews. We'll do a look at the minifigure and look at the tank itself, and then end off with the looking at the box and the instructions briefly. So without further ado, let's go right into it. Okay, so we get one custom figure in this kit, and he is a Russian tanker. So he does use Brickmania's brand new Russian mid-war torso, which looks very, very nice. Again, nothing too out of this world crazy, but it's a great design that is simple and effective, and keeps costs down, which is always a good thing. So it does have back printing, very, very nice. Front printing, there's two pockets on front, the collar, the belt. Everything looks very good. It is in dark tan, which is also, very accurate to the uniforms of the Soviet Army. He has, I'm not sure what color that is for the hands, but a darker brown for the, or lighter brown for gloves. And then a simple yellow skin face, nothing fancy there. And then he does have the Russian, not the Russian, but just the tanker headgear with the goggles. And then he does come with a PPSH submachine gun. Very, very common amongst the Red Army in Barbarossa. So that is a minifig you get, and now we'll go on to the tank itself. Alright, so looking at the actual KV-2 itself, this is a really, really big tank in real life and in Lego form. It's very, very large. So it's classified as a heavy artillery tank, and that's what it was initially designed for. But when this thing saw, its real action in 1941, during Operation Barbarossa, it was more used for anti-tank roles instead of artillery. So these things came to be a massive problem to the Germans in 1941 when they invaded Russia, because up until that point the Germans didn't really have a need for anything heavy, any heavy tanks, because they could knock out French and Polish tanks without a problem with the early Panzer IIIs and Panzer IVs. So they didn't have anything massively big to counter anything like this. So when the German Panzer divisions went up against, the KV-2 and KV-1 tanks, it was a really big problem because you need to outmaneuver these things and get behind them to kill them. Because doing it up front with a Panzer III or Panzer IV with the early guns in those things, it was just a death trap. It wasn't possible. So very good tank. The KV-2 was phased out in 1941 in favor of the KV-1. So most of the KV-2s were converted to KV-2s, or KV-1s, just because of the awkward design. I mean, the turret is massive. So obviously you'll see that, that's a really big target for, a Tiger, 1 year later. So they more kind of phase these out. So looking at the actual tank itself, my favorite feature about this is the fact it does have working suspension. So I'll just flip it over on its side to show you the undercarriage of this thing. So it's so simple, but it's still effective. So you have your 6 oscillating bogies on each side, and they're just connected at a pivot point with a Technic lift arm, and that gives it, a lot of travel for suspension, and it works great. So I'll just show you the suspension on this in action. So suspension is a really big thing for me for tanks, because I love doing photography with my tanks outside, and having suspension makes the picture look, that much more real. So you can see the suspension works fantastic with the minifig under it, and that works for all 6 of the oscillating bogies. So very, very nice. And the tracks work amazing. They actually roll really, really nice. Even on a really smooth surface like my studio here, it's very, very smooth. So that's nice. Looking at the actual chassis, just from here you get your 6 oscillating bogies, like I said, your driving sprocket wheels, and then it does use Lego's free wide track links, because it's a very large tank in real life. So looking at the front of this tank, on the frontal armor, you've got your Sloped armor up here, your tow hooks for towing other vehicles out of the battlefield, your hull-mounted machine gun, driver's viewport, and your radio antenna. Very, very nice. And then on the top of the rear of the engine deck, you've got your engine exhaust, and then you've got all sorts of greebling up there, just for engine detailing and cooling fans, things like that. Another 2 tow cables in the back for towing other vehicles, you know, basic stuff. And then on the top of the deck you've got, or the top of the hull, just some more tiles and things like that. It's a very smooth looking tank. There's nothing, like there's no rough edges on it, which is very nice. So looking at the actual KV-2 turret, it is huge. This thing is really, really large. The gun on it is a 152mm howitzer, which was a massive gun, hence why the turret is so freaking big. So this thing could do a lot of damage. Like, this thing could single-handedly take out a Panther III in the early version in like 1941 with one shot instantly. So it was very scary to going up against a tank like this because of how powerful it is. On the side of the turret, you've got Brickmania's new printed 2x2 tile with a Soviet star on it, and that looks really, really nice. I'm glad it's not a sticker and it's printed with a UV printer actually, so very high quality, very nice. And then you got your ladder going up to the top of the turret up here, because in real life this tank is like 9 feet tall. It's huge. So you want a ladder obviously for the the tankers. Looking at the rear of the turret, you've got your spin us around, opening hatch on the rear of the turret, so that it opens up and you can pose a minifig inside. Nothing like, there's no interior because it's a very small space, but it opens nonetheless. You've got your rear mounted machine gun for the turret. I believe it's a DP-28. Very, very nice, because with a tank like this, you're going to want a machine gun in the back, because you can get flanked by enemy infantry and they'll throw for grenades in your engine hatch, and that's no good for you. So, good to have protection in the back. Obviously, it's the same thing on the other side. This is the Soviet star and the ladder going up. But another fun fact about the KV-2 is these were mostly phased out after 41, because with the Tiger II, or maybe the Tiger tanks and the Panther tanks in 43 and 42, they could decimate this thing easily. So they want to get rid of tanks like this, because when you're looking at this thing, if you're a Tiger driver, 1 year later after Barbarossa, this is a really easy target because of how big the turret is. So these are mostly phased out in favor of the KV-1, which was just a better tank in general. So very, very nice. And then you do have some elevation on the gun, just a little bit, nothing crazy, but accurate. And then looking at the roof of the turret, you've got your opening hatch for the commander. So that opens up, and you've got just some range finders for the gunner and things like that. And it is all tiled up there, but you can put a minifig inside if I can find where I put him. Here he is. So you can pose a figure inside. That's very, very nice. Good for me, for Mox. So he fits up there. He's happy to go defend the motherland. So that is the KV-2. It is a fantastic tank. I love it because it's big and it's awesome. So there you go. And it's Russian. So go figure. So now we're going to look at the KV-1, which is the same exact chassis, but the KV-1 turret, because they share the same exact chassis in real life during production. So we'll look at that right now, because in this kit you do get the parts to build either the KV-2 or the KV-1 turret. So that's very, very nice. So now we'll look at the KV-1 turret and then end off with the final thoughts and the box. Alright, so here's the KV-1. This is the other turret you get to build in this kit. So basically, you don't get the parts to build both turrets at once. You can choose which turret you want to build first. You can either choose to build the KV-1 turret and then rebuild that into the KV-2. So you have options, which is great. But here's the KV-1 turret. It is much smaller than the other one, the KV-2, because of the gun difference, obviously. So this is a really, really good tank. In real life, I think they made about 5,000 of these tanks before war's end, so pretty heavily produced tank because it was so damn good. During the early days of Barbarossa, this thing was a monster to the Panther IIIs and Panther IVs in the early version, because the guns in them were very small. So a very effective tank. So I'm not going to show you the chassis, you've already seen that, but we'll show you the turret. So again, you've got the Soviet star on the side, printed, very, very nice. And then you've got the gun, which does have some elevation, go all the way up, or then you can go completely flat. So that's very, very nice. And then the sides, you just got some detailing here. And then the profile of the turret is very, very cool too. So that's very, very nice. I like the shape. The shaping of it's fantastic. On the rear of the turret, you have your machine gun port. Again, for a very large tank, you're going to want to have a machine gun in the back or something like that for enemy infantry if they outflank you. So that's very, very cool. And then you've got on top of the turret your range finders here and here for your gunners. And then you do have one opening hatch for the commander. So that opens up and you can put the tanker inside. So I do love this tank very, very much. It's in real life, it's a very cool tank because I have seen this tank in real life. So you know, it's always cool to see something in Lego form that I've seen in real life. So that's very, very nice. And yeah, so that's KV-1. So now you've seen both versions of the tank you get to build in this one kit. And now we're going to move on to looking at the box and the instructions briefly, and then end off with final thoughts. So let's go. Okay, so here's the box to the KV-2 kit. So like most boxes, it is they're actually a pretty large one this time in terms of the box size. I'm actually, to be honest, a bit surprised it's not a black box kit because of how many parts are in this one and how big the kit actually is. But without, you know, dragging things on any longer, get your Brickmania logo in the upper left-hand corner. KV-2 heavy artillery tank, built by Dan Siskin, obviously, owner of Brickmania. It is skill level 3, intermediate, and it is of the Soviet Union. And then, again, you have the option to build a KV-1 turret or the KV-2, so I like that you have options in this tank to build whatever you want. So that's nice, and then on the back you do have some box art. So, got the KV-2 in the snow, the Russian tank minifigure you get, and just some of the features on it, and includes World War II Russian KV tanker, alternate KV-1 build, working suspension, custom printed tiles, Brick Army's PPSH submachine gun, and protects motherland. So what more could you possibly want? So that is the box. Very, very nice. And then if I want to put the camera down, look at the instructions. The instructions are nice like always, just a bit. So pretty large instruction manual similar to the other larger kits. So good box, good artwork on the front, done by Lando I assume. And then on the first page you got some information on the KV-1. Very, very nice for me in terms of reviewing that, so I have some information beforehand. And the instructions are fantastic as always, very, very clear. And then it's the KV-2 build, and then you have instructions for the KV-1. So that's very, very nice, then. That is the KV-1. So that is the review, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed this as much as I had fun building it. This is a fantastic kit, and I'm really happy they brought it back for Red October month. And this kit is available still right now, so I highly suggest you pick it up. I'll put a link down to Brickmania's web store like always. You can check out either this or some other awesome products, because right now they just restocked a lot of good kits, so I'd go there and check it out ASAP, because kits do go fast like this one, so I would try and get your hands on it before it's gone. It'll look good in any mock, any photography scene you want to do. So that's it for the review, guys. I really hope you guys enjoy the review, and I will most likely be getting more of these kits to review in the future, and I will talk to you guys later. Peace out.